this week's PhantomCave video, we're going to be having a look at What's in the Box, Part 6, the segment that never dies, and the segment that will keep on continuing. So let's get into this segment, and I hope you enjoy this new segment that has been around for last year. So let's get into it. I hope you enjoy this video, and first cover art we're going to be having a look at is Skeleton Coast. The Skeleton Coast. So it's cover art by Shane Foley and his colorist Sarge. This comic was, I think, published back in 2018, and it's a beautiful, beautiful cover by Shane Foley. Beautiful, beautiful. It also has Skeleton Coast and Heart of Darkness, Chapter 4, Part 6. The next cover we have is a beautiful Jason Paulo's cover. It is Shadows Over Spyglass, and it is beautiful. Like, the level of detail that goes into some of these covers, some of the covers that few publications has been putting out recently, very recently, that to do with Ibis Mystery Part series, and that's supposed to have a new sequel to it, so that will be pretty cool. And let's move on. Next cover is Jamie Johnson. So Jamie Johnson done this cover. He also signed it for me. If you can see that, he signed that for me in 2019 at Supernova. And this comic is all about the Phantom. I'm pretty sure revisits the devastation of New Zealand, the earthquake that happened there, like 10 years ago or something like that. We have a story based around that and something to do with that. And it also has its red zone, so that sort of means the red zone of an earthquake area. We have Heart of Darkness, Chapter 4, Part 8. And this cover, as you can tell, Jamie Johnson, obviously, when Jamie Johnson actually was doing the cover, one of the best references that would have been helpful for him doing this front cover would have been one of the movies Dwayne Johnson was starring in that year. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that we actually get to see a cover like this, when normally when an artist tries and does something, a normal artist, he wouldn't even have the creative mindset to actually do this. So you got to actually have a creative mindset to basically create these covers, and some of these covers are pretty damn good. Now the next two issues are basically double ups, because it's a special issue. It's the 70th anniversary special. It's got a beautiful cover done by the legendary Sly Barry, and on the back cover of it, I'm pretty sure I'll be showing the image up here right now, is the back cover for this comic is actually done by Massimino Gambolè. And I remember buying this. I remember going down to my news agency. I remember buying 2 copies of this. Now we'll put that first copy down. There's another second copy here. And as if you haven't been noticing in this video, my comics are now got a special, well, much heavier durability board, like bagging and boarding. So in the last couple of months, I've been basically bagging and boarding comics and making sure my collection is protected against all elements and against myself, really. And plus, would have been a month or 2 ago, I made a video about how I store my Phantom comics, and it was a good response, but in another way, it was a bad response, because it was basically telling me they didn't know how to care for my comics. So yeah, and so thank you for that viewer to pointing me out to that. And now, for the last couple of months, I've been rebagging and boarding my comics. So thank you. So next cover we have is a beautiful cover done by Jeremy McPherson, and it is Snake in Paradise. And issue number is 1821. Next cover is, well. It's the first ever cover of Grange Wallace's Phantom career. Who would have thought? And plus, back in 2017 or 2018 when this comic was published, I bought 2 copies. Yes. I bought 2 magnificent copies of this book because I'm thinking first appearance of the cover artist. First appearance, I'm going to buy 2 comics. I'm going to buy 2 copies, and yeah, it was cool. And nowadays, Grange is going for new extents and new sort of areas in comic making. Oh yeah. Okay, next cover that is coming up is The Rise of the Red Dragon Part 2. And this cover is done by Jason Paulos. When I actually interviewed Jason Paulos, so right, back in February, I interviewed Jason Paulos, and he's a pretty cool guy. He's a pretty cool guy. He knows what he's talking about. Lots of artists know what they're talking about. But for this artist, he's pretty cool because obviously he's an Australian. He's not an international artist. Sorry for international artists. Australians, good job. But Jason Paulos did a lot of work on the Red Dragon saga, and he did a lot of work on the new trade paperback, the 4th trade paperback to come out this year. And the trade paperback I bought in the last couple of weeks. And obviously I haven't read it because I've been catching up on my the Phantom comics, and currently right now I am reading the number 17 the giant size Phantom number 17, and that is the annual. Now the next comic we have is a beautiful Antonio Lemos cover, and it is Hunchback. Beautiful cover. I love, if you cannot tell, my favourite cover artist, well, the first one was actually Antonio Lemos. So yeah, he's one of my absolute favourites. Now, every year we get a cover done by Glenn Ford, obviously the guy that is still publishing the Phantom in Sydney, and he actually took over from, I think, the Shepherd's dynasty in 2016, and that's the same year I got into comics. The same year I got into the Phantom. So we have Death's Hour, a very, very beautiful architecture done by Glenn Ford, and every year we get a Glenn Ford cover. And it's pretty special that we actually get a Glenn Ford cover, and he actually can take his time out of his day to create a cover for the Phantom fans so they can enjoy it and still collect it. So they can put it in their collections and say, I've got a Glenn Ford cover, beat that. The next cover we have, oh yes, it's one of my favourites. It is Jason Paulos. So Jason Paulos did this. He's one of my absolute favourite comic artists, and it is the Karabasan League. So cool. Love how he does his the colour bits and pieces. Cover we have to look at is the 2019 Phantom Christmas Special. And yes, you can tell it is done by Jeff Wilgley, the Sunday Phantom artist, who is actually in the last week or last couple of years, he's been doing a very good comic series, a very good part series with Duncan Munro. And if you're watching this, Duncan, I still haven't read your Phantom, your third part to your story, and yeah, I've got a lot to read right now, so it may come up after I take a break in August, so it might come on in August or something. I don't know. I'm really busy right now. Next cover we have is the New Year's edition. The Rex Special has 52 pages of absolutely awesomeness and is a Glenn Lumsden cover. You can honestly, I said this in the last part of this video, you can honestly tell if it's a Glenn Lumsden cover because he loves to do his Phantom in grey. Yeah. Because as everyone knows, as a lot of fans knows, and as a lot of new fans will get to know, is that the Phantom, Lee Falk actually decided his first decision when he was trying to colour the comic, his first decision was he wanted in grey. So his first decision was he wanted in grey and he was going to call it a different name. So back in those days, obviously copyright reasons, it didn't become that different name, and obviously by another fault in the printer, I'm pretty sure. I think it was the fault in the printer, or that they didn't have a good enough printer, because back in those days, 1930s, what, you're gonna have a new printer by like that? No. There's going to be a lot of differentials in the colours, and obviously the Phantom turned out to be purple. And in other countries, the Phantom is turned out to be red, green, blue. It's one of those covers where we get to see Wendell Cavalcanti. I actually interviewed him last year, so he's pretty cool. And he does very, very good covers and very good interior art. So this also includes the 1942 complete Lee Falk classic, The Phantom Goes to War, and it has 5 stories in it. And the colorist, I think, is L. Georgie. So cool. He's a great comic artist. Oh, we're getting down to the last couple of covers. Oh. So the next one is, I'm pretty sure it's Chewie Chan. You may not know, he doesn't always turn up in the covers every year, but every year he does a great job at what he does, and I have obviously met him. I've met him through Supernova one year, and that Supernova year I think was in 2019 when that was awesome year. And this year, the 2021 Supernova was even better. So this one has the Dark Chalice Part 1, the Ghost in Glastonbury, plus the Heart of Darkness Chapter 5 Part 4, and this cover is pretty cool, but you gotta check it the next cover. So cool. Oh, people are going to love this. People are absolutely going to love this. I'll go and show you. So we have Dark Chalice Part 2, The Tomb of the Sorceress. And this comic and the next one that comes after this are pretty damn dark. I did not like I liked it. I love the covers from it. But story-wise, I like dark ones with dark shadows. But this one and the next one, not so much, because it's to do with San artists and their culture and all that sort of stuff, and I don't usually gravitate to horror and all that sort of stuff. So it's a great cover by Granger Wallace, one of his second or third covers he actually did for the Phantom fans, and yeah. Don't you just love it when your hand is getting sweaty under this little light? It's just funny. That's just a joke for you. Okay, the next cover we have is a cover done by Jeremy McPherson, and this cover and the story, no. This cover, yes, I'm still in school when I received this cover, and if I read it back in those days, which I did, it includes San artists. And that's a new word I learned back in those days, and I had no clue what it meant. So yeah, I don't really like dark stories. As I said before, I don't gravitate to horror stories. I know this story wasn't really much of a horror story, but the dark themes in it, I do not like. But I don't usually say that I don't like phantom stories, but this story, not so much. It's a great cover by Jeremy McPherson, don't get me wrong, and coloured by Thomas Mason. Just the story, not my taste. Do we have any more? No, we don't. And if you want to subscribe to the Phantom Cave YouTube channel, you can check out more parts, more covers like this in the next couple of part series where we have a look in the What's in the Box part series. We're nearly, I think, in the next couple of parts, we'll be pretty much done this part series. And yeah, we're up to 29, or a little bit through 2019 series, and as always, keep Phantom Caving, keep subscribing to the channel. We make the best Phantom content, well, I try to anyways. We make the best Phantom content for all the fans everywhere across the world, and as always, keep Phantom Caving, and we'll see you next time on the Phantom Cave YouTube channel.